Well, our guest now is in studio, Mr. Ray Youssef, the Chief Executive Officer of NoOnes.com. We want to have a conversation around cryptocurrency. What is it? How does it look like? How does it feel? And how can we benefit from it, especially the youthful demographic? I want to thank you, Ray, for finding time to come and join us.
It's my pleasure and honor, sir. Thank you for having me.
Excellent. Now, I just want us to start, first of all, to have an understanding to, some of the youthful people who are watching the program tonight. What is Bitcoin? What is blockchain? How does it help us place in the world?
Well, I think before we talk about anything technical, first let me say this. Gen Z is the greatest generation, and the Gen Z of Africa is absolutely amazing.
Why?
You are the best.
Why?
Because you guys make things happen. On my platform, NoOnes.com, every day in Kenya alone, we do 3.5 million in volume, and it just started. The Gen Z of Kenya especially have risen to the occasion. They are moving tremendous volume. They are young entrepreneurs that are connecting Africa's money system. This is amazing. And no one taught them, they taught themselves. I'm coming here to get an education. And cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, these things are just tools.
Yeah.
To allow Africans to trade with other Africans. That's all we need to do to create wealth.
Yeah.
But before we continue, I just want to put one thing out there.
Yeah.
This is important.
Proceed, yeah.
My parents left Egypt when I was 2 years old to go to New York. They left paradise, went to cold New York to basically work as a and make a better life for me and my family. Now I'm back here, and there's a reason for that. America is no longer the land of limitless opportunity. It never really was. The land of limitless opportunity is right here in Africa. We do not have to leave this place. This is where we're going to make our stand, and this is the place where all the money is. Because guess what? All those CEOs and venture capitalists, they're not looking at America anymore. They're looking right here.
The continent of Africa.
Yes.
So tell me, if you reflect back a little bit, when internet came, there was a bit of doubt. People were not sure. And then, of course, others were busy making money, on those mobile platforms, etc. So tell us, because you speak about money and venture capitalism, tell us about the premium returns on investments around Bitcoin, which you are involved with.
I got into Bitcoin in 2011, so I did pretty well. But guess what? Where Bitcoin was in 2011, opportunity-wise, ROI-wise, is where peer-to-peer is right now. It is absolutely fresh and buying something and holding it and hoping to get rich in a couple of years. It's about cash flow. It's about making money to move around to solve real problems that honest business people have. Like, for example, African merchants, they buy stuff from China and they sell it here. That's how they do their business. But they can't make payments to Chinese banks. It's extremely difficult with an African bank account.
Why? Because of the intermediary systems that exist currently.
Absolutely. The version of SWIFT that African banks use is even more broken than the Western version of SWIFT. The most over-regulated region in the world, and that is by design. In fact, intra-African continental trade is officially at 13%, but it's actually less than 1% if you count purely African-owned companies.
Yeah.
In Europe, it's 70%.
70%.
And we're at less than 1%? What does that tell you? We are trapped in a matrix of financial apartheid, and it is by design. It's not because we're low IQ or lazy or we just came out of the jungles. That's what they want us to believe. It's just because we're not allowed to trade with each other. And it's not just the banking system. Even mobile money, M-Pesa, it's an amazing product, older than PayPal. Africa did it first.
Yeah.
But an M-Pesa user in Kenya can't send money.
You say Africa, you mean Kenya?
Yes.
Yeah.
An M-Pesa user in Kenya cannot send money to an M-Pesa user in Ghana. Why? This is supposed to be our most advanced network, and we're still not allowed to transact between borders.
So tell me, West Africa is a good story. The adapters, they're probably some of the early adapters to the technology. So what are some of the lessons do you think that we can learn here? And belt, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi?
Well, I have quite the story there, because I was the guy that first brought Bitcoin and peer-to-peer to Africa about 10 years ago. I actually took a trip to Nigeria, and I did something that none of these CEOs do. I came here and actually met my customers. And I spoke with them and I listened to them. And they gave me an education because I listened. And they told me all their problems with money. I built the very best platform for them. And they rewarded me. Now Nigeria leads the entire world in cryptocurrency adoption, and Kenya is coming up in a strong second. So Kenya has tremendous potential to perhaps match, and I believe exceed Nigeria. Has sadly gone into cracking down on crypto and peer-to-peer. They see it as an enemy, but it's not. It's actually their best friend.
It's actually their best friend. Absolutely. But let me, because you mentioned the word enemy, there are those who feel very strongly here in Kenya that the Bitcoin technology is probably a safe haven for, looted funds. And what I want to ask you is this true, or is it just people using fear to distract from the main usage of Bitcoin? What are your thoughts on that?
You pretty much said it yourself, brother. Funders and fraudsters and terrorists use fiat. They don't use crypto. And in fact, am I supposed to, fraud is a concern. In Africa, a lot of people have been scammed in MLM scams that prefer to use crypto as a superior method of payment. That doesn't necessarily mean crypto itself is bad. Some people have also lost the family farm buying these tokens like OneCoin. We're not talking about buying some new coin here. We're talking about crypto as a means of peer-to-peer electronic cash to solve the biggest problem that we have. Money laundering, fraud, these things are a problem in the fiat world. This is all just what they call FUD. Distract us from the real FUD, from the real issue, which is the colonial system never left Africa. And they're the criminals. All of their money is dirty money. They're money laundering to be anything outside of their system. So a merchant here in sneakers from China, and he uses crypto to pay the merchant, to pay the factory in Beijing, they consider that. It gives you an eye into the system. They don't want us to be able to transact and to deter us. Now, if you want to grow, history is always first. And people must be able to transact. That's how America got rich, right? The Wild West. Development. And then you bring in regulations slowly to keep things safe, to balance things out. You don't just smash it in and stop the momentum of a growing economy. So the peer-to-peer mechanism, what else can be used? Is it only transfer of monies from person A to person B, or can it be used, for example, in sorting out our data, for example, our registry at the Ministry of Lands? How can a ministry like that benefit from that kind of technology? There's tremendous uses for blockchain technology. It can be used as a data store for records, etc. There's many uses, but honestly, all of those uses, however novel they may be, dwarfs the prime use case, which is to allow us to use our money. If we can just trade, if Africans can just trade with other Africans, we're going to have 10 cities like Dubai popping up here in the next decade. That's how much wealth will be created. So in the face of that, of all that wealth and prosperity, of the greatest underdog story ever and inspiring the entire world, all that stuff is just crumbs. So tell me, if we can trade state to state, and we eliminate the intermediary, so in terms of trust, what replaces the intermediary? In terms of some old white guy in London or Brussels standing between you and me wanting to do a trade, services like no one's, right? It's an escrow service. So if I want to trade with you, say we go to a restaurant, I say I'll get the bill, but my Apple Pay doesn't work and I don't have cash. You know what I can do? I can say, hey, I'll pay you in crypto. Just pay this bill for me with your M-Pesa. And that's a peer-to-peer transaction right there. An escrow is just a payment with a condition. That way I can do a transaction with someone I've never met over the internet. It's much safer than doing a trade over Telegram or WhatsApp, but I don't know he has the crypto. It works. So as we wrap up, and perhaps your final comments, what do you think are the opportunities that exist for the youthful demographic in countries like Kenya? It's the biggest opportunity ever. Just yesterday, 10 brothers drove down 8 hours to come see me. There were traders here in Kenya who changed their lives trading peer-to-peer, and they wanted to meet me. And these guys weren't programmers. All they had were cell phones. They started with 1,000 shillings, and they built up their business. It's amazing. And in fact, it's what this country has been waiting for. But it was your own president, who I admire very much. He came out and said, in a room full of all of these European presidents, he said, where is this new global financial architecture that you have promised us? We have been waiting. Yeah. And they all gave him that look like, you didn't think we were serious, did you?
That's a good place to leave it.
Really, but we're serious, and Gen Z is doing it.
Yeah.
We don't have to ask for permission.
Okay. Thank you. 1,000 shillings, building up.
Yes, sir.
Good luck. And thank you for coming through.
Thank you for having me, sir. Radayatu.
Asante sana. Chief Executive Ray Youssef, noones.com, opportunities that exist in the digital space for our youths, and the conversation around cryptocurrency, which way forward. Well, we're going to take a short break. Betty Kiptum is on the other side of the studio preparing to bring us the very latest in the world of business. And a little later on in sports, Okoch, Okumu, Bernard will get sporty. Stay with us. We'll be back shortly.